Hello viewers, welcome to Ekam Academy. Today we are going to discuss about Sela Tunnel. You might already have an idea why we are going to discuss about this, right? So today our Prime Minister have inaugurated the Sela Tunnel. What is the relation of this Sela Tunnel? And he even dedicated the Sela Tunnel to the nation also. So what is the significance of this Sela Tunnel? We'll also look into what are the disputes between India and China in respect of border and all the necessary things which you need to cover from prelims perspective. If you have seen earlier in the prelims examinations, when there is this Galvan dispute and in the Kashmir, you can say in the Ladakh region, when this dispute happened 4 years back, UPSC have asked a question regarding this Nubra Valley and this Siachen Glacier. Okay, so they have asked directly the question in prelims based on geographical location. So in that context, whenever something happens significantly in Indian context, okay, so you need to know these things very importantly and what are the major things you need to cover in geographical terms also I'll explain. So here the main thing you need to remember is on the fourth anniversary of this border dispute with China in the eastern Ladakh. Okay, so in the eastern Ladakh, our Prime Minister has inaugurated Sela Tunnel. Okay, so what is a Sela Tunnel? First, for that to understand, you need to know what is a tunnel. Tunnel is nothing but an underground or you can say underwater passage. Okay, so it is underground passage to facilitate the movement. Okay, so for different reasons you may construct tunnels like we have seen in the recent times, Uttarakhand tunnel also because of the huge rescue operations and successfully we can retrieve the workers, right? We have that particular operation was successful. So in this reason also the tunnel is very important in the recent times we're coming. Okay, so they may ask the location of this tunnel or they may ask something related to this tunnel. Okay, so for this to understand what is a tunnel, you need to know it is an underground passage. So why we need to need a tunnel means for different reasons. For security reasons, it can be, or to facilitate movement, or to withstand harsh weather conditions, it can be, or for trade purposes, or for secret purposes, also like spy movements. Also, if you see, okay, in this way, there are different things. Like for example, if you have seen in the Indian Police Force, that is a web series in the recent times. If you have seen in the last thing, okay, they use underground tunnel through soil. They will be crossing India and India border with Bangladesh because legal entry is not possible at that point of time. So the terrorist also will cross the border through the underground tunnel only. So these are the things which you need to observe. The purpose may be different, but tunnel is mainly an underground passage. So what is that you have to remember from this context is we have different number of tunnels in India. Okay, so for example, the most important tunnels are Jawhar tunnel. You have Jawhar tunnel is in Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so it was named after our former prime minister, and it is also called as Banihal tunnel also. Okay, Banihal tunnel also we call. And the second important thing is Jojila tunnel. Okay, so you might have heard about this in the recent times because it is the India's longest road tunnel. Okay, longest road tunnel. These type of things can be asked in the examination. So be thorough with these things. Jojila tunnel is the India's longest road tunnel, which is connecting Ladakh with Srinagar. Okay, so because to provide all weather connectivity, this Jodhila tunnel was constructed. Then you have Atal tunnel. Okay, so what is this Atal tunnel? You know, this is the second longest road tunnel and it is on the Rohtang Pass. Okay, in the recent times only, we have even the inauguration of by this Prime Minister only. So we have this Atal tunnel also. This is in the Pir Panjal range. Okay, so Pir Panjal range in the Kashmir segment. Okay, and you have in the Pir Panjal range only we have another the railway tunnel which is considered as India's longest railway tunnel, that is Banihal and Kazigand. Okay, Kazigand tunnel. This is Kazigand, GUND. So this is the also called as Pir Panjal railway tunnel. So this is the India's longest railway tunnel. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. Okay, so these are the some important tunnels in the recent times which are in news. Okay, then we'll understand what is this tunnel, where it is located. Okay, so this tunnel, Sela tunnel, which is inaugurated, it is in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. So from what which places are getting connected through this tunnel means you have to importantly remember Tezpur. Okay, this Tezpur is in Assam. So this is a major air force base of Indian Air Force. Okay, so it played an important role. So in the northeastern India, this is a major air force base for the Indian Air Force. Okay, then it is connecting Tejpur in Assam with Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. Tawang is very important. You can see here the image itself is suggesting welcome to Tawang. Okay, this is in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so why this is very important? Because this Tawang is almost at 13,000 feet elevated. Okay, that means above the sea level. That means it is on the mountainous region. So it is having harsh weather conditions during winter. And if you want to access the stage 4 to Tawang sector, okay, by road in winters, it is not possible because of excessive snowfall, landslides, or rainfall also. That is why we have constructed this tunnel. Okay, so and also this will facilitate our troop movements to the line of actual control. We'll also know what is the difference between LAC and LOC at the end. Okay, so stay tuned till then. Then we have the location is very important. Okay, you know this is a state of Arunachal Pradesh, right? Okay, so the state of Arunachal Pradesh is very important for us because it is guarding the border with China. So you know in Arunachal Pradesh also here we have this Tawang. That means this is the location. Okay, that means it is so close to the Sikkim part. You can say here it is Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. This is the location you need to know. Then you need to know this particular border with Arunachal Pradesh in the eastern sector, which we share with China, is very important because you know in the recent times also China has issued stapled visas for Arunachal Pradesh people and all. Okay, so Arunachal is being claimed by China as the southern part of Tibet, and China is saying this is our own territory. It is not Indian territory. So even if Indian Home Minister or Indian Prime Minister or any of the ministers visit Arunachal Pradesh also, they're raising objections, okay, because they're considering this as part of their territory. And you know, India is always, no, India is not accepting these claims, and we are exerting our territorial sovereignty over Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so this is the geographical location you need to know. Before that, you need to know which are the states that India and China have border with. Okay, so China, you know, that is the second largest country in terms of land boundary with other countries. First, you have with Bangladesh, right? Almost 4,000 kilometers plus you have, and second place we have is China. Okay, so China is having almost 3,480 kilometers boundary with five states earlier, but now four states plus one union territory. What are those? You know, one union territory is Ladakh, you have, then Uttarakhand, you have, Himachal Pradesh, you have, then you have Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, so these are the states which have boundary with China. So if you see here, this Ladakh is considered, the boundary with China is considered as western sector. Here there is a dispute with respect to Aksai Chin. This we'll discuss later. Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh is considered as middle sector with in terms of border with China. Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh are considered as eastern sector in terms of border with China. So we'll understand what are the things later. But here what you need to know is this particular tunnel, Sela tunnel, why it was constructed, because as I told you, this connectivity between Tejpur in Assam to Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh, okay, is facilitated by a particular road. So that road is closed almost for almost greater than 6 months in a year. Why we are closing this road? Because excessive snowfall, it doesn't facilitate the troop movement or any weapon movement also. Because you know, LAC is very important for us. Okay, in case if you are not alert, okay, then China is trying to exert always its uh, it want to exert its particular command on this particular area, that always it is having an eye on Arunachal Pradesh. So to control China's dominance and to prepare our Indian borders in a robust way, in a vibrant way, we need to upgrade our infrastructure along the borders as part of this project only. So as these things are having some limitations, we have constructed a tunnel, and this is the world record because now the Sela tunnel is the world's highest, okay, on the highest elevation, the longest bi-lane tunnel. Longest bi-lane tunnel. Okay, bi-lane means two-way. It is possible to move. That means in bi-directions you can move, and it is the highest one because it was constructed at 13,000 feet above the sea level. Okay, so that is the highest thing you need to remember. That means today it has recorded as the world's longest bi-lane tunnel in the world. Okay, so this is the main important thing you need to know. Why? Because to counter China's infrastructure in recent times, China is ramping up its infrastructure on the border with India. In the same way, we also need to protect our borders. That is why we have constructed this project. It was inaugurated in 2019 by our Indian Prime Minister. It was inaugurated, and it was inaugurated today. Okay, so this is what you have. Then let's see what is the point of discussion. Sela tunnel and all other related things related to this topic we'll discuss. Why it is in news, about the Sela tunnel, and important things you need to know from prelims. What are the facts about Sela Pass? This is below the Sela Pass. So we'll see what is the Sela Pass, Tawang Monastery, which is very important in terms of Buddhism. So which kind of Buddhism is prevalent here, why this Tawang Monastery is famous, and why China has raised objections in the previous time, we'll see. And what is the role of BRO in this? We'll know the difference between LAC and LOC, and also we'll understand what is this McMahon line and Johnson line in relation to border with China, and also we'll know at the end Vibrant Village program, which is initiated by the government of India in the last 1 year. Okay, so we'll see these things as part of this video. Then it is very important in terms of GS paper in prelims, coming prelims, it is very important. So today itself our Prime Minister has inaugurated Sela Tunnel as part of his visit to Arunachal Pradesh. Not only his visit to Arunachal Pradesh, if you have seen earlier in the day, he visited Assam also, where he also have visited Kaziranga National Park in Assam. You know, Kaziranga National Park is famous for one horn rhinos, right? Even he has taken part as part of the elephant safari also. He visited this one horn rhinos and as part of this Kaziranga National Park visit. And interestingly, he coined this particular northeastern India, or he considered northeastern India as the 21st century's 21st century India's growth engine. Okay, so why? Because if this particular Northeast India gets developed, okay, not only in terms of trade but tourism also, if you are encouraging in terms of security perspective, connectivity perspective, then this Northeast can be an engine for India's 21st century's aspirations. That is what he have termed. Okay, so here what we need to know is the facts about Sela Tunnel. So it is the longest bi-lane road tunnel in the world at an altitude of almost 30,000 feet. Okay, so this is located in the Arunachal Pradesh. This is most importantly can be asked in the state exams. Okay, so it is connecting Tejpur in Assam. As I told you, this is the major Indian Air Force base. Okay, in Assam with Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh. These are the two areas which is connecting by this particular tunnel. Okay, then you have to remember that this is built by Border Roads Organization. Very importantly, Border Road Organization is under Ministry of Defense. Okay, so this under the project Vatak. Okay, this tunnel is it started in 2019 and it was completed and it was inaugurated today. Okay, so you need to know project Vatak and BRO also had played an important role in this tunnel construction. So what is the need here? You need to know about Sela Pass. So what is a Sela Pass means? This is one of the major battleground in 1962 war with China. You know 1962 India's war with China, right? In that this one of Sela Pass has been one of the major battleground. So why this is very important? Because at that point of time, as this is at the highest elevation, we could not move our troops faster, because of which with the slight difference we have lost the war. So because of this only we wanted to improve now the weather because in the winter season, in case if China takes this advantage and if it has attacked India from this particular point or location, then we need to be ready with the troops and other related weapons and all these things. That is why all weather connectivity is very much needed. So in case if you have already, we have Balipara, Charidwar and Tawang road, but this remains closed almost for greater than 6 months in a year because of snowfall and landslides which is caused by heavy rainfall. So to provide all weather connectivity, that means all weathers, that means even in summer, rainy season and winter also, you need to have access to these sensitive and strategic locations. That is why we have constructed the Sela tunnel as part of the Sela Pass. Okay, so you know what is a pass? Pass is nothing but a narrow way which is giving access in between the mountains. Okay, so you cannot cross the mountains, but these mountain pass will facilitate that access to cross the places. Okay, then it is also cut down the travel time for an hour almost. Okay, so between Tejpur and Tawang through this tunnel, the time is getting reduced by 1 hour. This is another important benefit that we are getting. So this will help us in faster deployment of weapons, soldiers also near the line of actual control. This is a need or the benefit why we have constructed. So what is the Sela Pass? This is a high altitude mountain pass in the Tawang district of Arunachal Pradesh only. Elevation you can see 4,170 meters above the sea level, and almost it is open throughout the year. Okay, this is managed by BRO. And it is a primary link between Tawang and the rest of Arunachal Pradesh. So sometimes there will be closures because of this snowfall or rainfall and landslides. That is, it is hurting the region's connectivity and development. That is why, although we have the Sela Pass, which is accessible all throughout the year, but still due to some harsh weather conditions, we are not able to access it. That is why to bypass these things, we had this Sela tunnel. So then what is the Tawang monastery? Why we need to know is it is also located in Tawang district, which we are referring here. So it is very important in terms of Buddhist perspective. So whenever last time, if you have remembered in 2019 also, when Dalai Lama has shown his intention to visit Tawang monastery, so China has raised objections. Okay, so that is why it is very much important. So you need to know it is located in Tawang in Arunachal Pradesh itself. It is the largest monastery in India. Okay, so monastery is nothing but the place of worship for the Buddhist monks. Okay, the place of residence also. So it is the second largest in the world after this particular Potala Palace in Lhasa in Tibet. Okay, so after this, it is the second largest and largest in terms of India. So you need to know this is also called as celestial paradise in the clear night in the Tibetan language. Also, it is named. Then you can see it was found by Merak Lama Loder Katso in 1680 and 1681 with the wishes of 5th Dalai Lama. The current Dalai Lama is the 11th Dalai Lama we have. So before these are the persons who are following that particular Lama sect, you can say, and it belongs to the Gelug school of Mahayana Buddhism. So what is this Mahayana Buddhism? You know, there are two types of basic Buddhism, that is Hinayana and Mahayana. Hinayana Buddhism doesn't believe in rebirth of Buddha, and they also don't worship idolatry worship of Buddha. So idolatry, but Mahayana people will believe that Buddha will take birth. That is, rebirth is possible. That in the form of, you can say, like we have Avalokiteshvara, you have Maitreyi, like this Bodhisattvas concept and all. They believe so. So the rebirth they believe, and they construct Mahavira in the form of, they worship in the form of idols. Okay, if you have seen, Ashoka belongs to this Hinayana Buddhism, where Kanishka and Harshavardhana of Kanauj, you know, so those followed Mahayana Buddhism. So the basic differences you need to know here. Okay, and even this Hinayana Buddhism is prevalent in Sri Lanka and other parts of Indonesia and Southeastern Asia, whereas this Mahayana Buddhism reached China, Japan, and Korean parts. Okay, so this is what you need to know from this particular context. Then what is the role of BRO? BRO, as I told you, this is a road construction executive force which is mainly responsible for constructing or developing infrastructure along the borders. Okay, so be it the roads or bridges or tunnels, so to support the Indian armed forces for their faster mobilization. Okay, so they are helping with BRO is helping. So it is not only responsible, here is the most important point, not only in India's border areas but also in India's friendly neighboring countries also. It is constructing the projects and maintaining some road networks. For example, if you see, 19 states and 3 union territories are covered by under this BRO's operations. You can see Afghanistan, Bhutan, Myanmar, Tajikistan, Sri Lanka, all these are also having the cooperation of BRO in their particular security infrastructure enhancement. And you know, even with respect to snow clearance also, like we have seen this particular road which is connecting Tawang and Tezpur, that is being closed for 6 months in a year, we have seen, no, due to snowfall. And also after this, the clearance is also the main thing which the BROs normally will do. So one main thing you have to remember is in the Indo-China border, this BRO's role is very instrumental because they're constructing the roads, bridges, airfields, and in the like very hostile environments, and they're even helping the local people for their faster mobilization or faster movement from one place to another place. They also have been active during 1962 Indo-Chinese War, 1965 India-Pakistan War, and 1971 India-Pakistan and the Bangladesh Liberation War also. And they have been active in the anti-insurgency operations in the northeastern India. So this is what you need to know. It was formed in 1960. Okay, so 1960, on 7th May, it was formed to develop the infrastructure along the border areas, especially north and northeastern borders. So here you need to know one most important fact is Border Roads Development Board is there under this organization, to which the Prime Minister acts as the chairman. Border Roads Development Board will be chaired by the Prime Minister, and the Ministry of Defence will be the deputy chairman to this particular board. So then you need to know what is the difference between LEAC and LOC. So here you can understand there is a demarcation. You can see this line is LEAC. Okay, here you can see this is LEAC. Okay, so we'll understand what is the difference between LEAC and LOC. What is the difference? LOC means line of control. Line of control is nothing but it is the clearly demarcated border between India and Pakistan. So where it is covering almost the Pakistan occupied Kashmir, you have Jammu, Kashmir Valley you have, and you have some parts of Ladakh also. So there, this particular boundary with Pakistan is demarcated as LOC. It is clearly demarcated between India and Pakistan. Almost it is 770 kilometer long. Okay. So then what is this LAC? LAC is line of actual control. This is out of the bilateral agreement signed between India and China in 1993, but there is no concrete settlement like in the case of LOC. LOC is clearly defined, but LAC is not clearly defined. That is why sometimes we are having this border intrusions and aggressions in the LAC region, you can say. So it is having this LAC is not limited here only. In the eastern sector, we have in Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. In the middle sector, with respect to Uttarakhand and Himachal, we have, even in with respect to the western sector in Ladakh also we have this LAC. So this is running almost for 4,057 kilometer length, you can say, and it is between India and China. So this is the basic difference you need to know from the difference between LAC and LOC. Then we will understand what is the difference between McMahon line and Johnson line. Okay, so this is also very important from your examination perspective. So border lines are very important. Like for example, if you have remembered, Radcliffe line separates India and Pakistan border. Durand line, Pakistan and Afghanistan, like that. Okay, so here you need to know what is this McMahon line and you have Johnson line. So let's see first the Johnson line. So India's boundary with China is divided into three sectors, as I told you. Western, that is in case of Ladakh. Middle sector, Himachal and Uttarakhand, you have, this is middle. And you have eastern sector where Sikkim and Arunachal Pradesh both are covered. Okay, so let's see the Johnson line. Johnson line is nothing but this was marked in 1865. So this shows Aksai Chin part. This is Aksai Chin part. This is as in the erstwhile Jammu and Kashmir. This is under India's control according to Johnson line. But in opposition to this, China has claimed Aksai Chin as there, and they have released McDonald line. McDonald line was given in 1893, claiming Aksai Chin as part of China. But Johnson line demarcates Aksai Chin as Indian territory. This is a basic difference you need to know. This is with respect to the western sector. We have McDonald line or Johnson line. India is accepting Johnson line. China is accepting McDonald line. Then you have in the eastern sector, we have McMahon line. So what is this McMahon line? Almost 1140 kilometers you have in the eastern sector, the boundary with China. But why China is not accepting this McMahon line? Because it is saying that this McMahon line is an out of an agreement between Tibet and British India as part of Shimla agreement. Okay, so they says it was signed between Tibetan representatives and the British India. So Tibetan representatives have no right actually in demarcating the boundary with Tibet, which is part of China and the British. So as the Tibetans don't have right, this is not legal. Okay, that is what China is considering, and it is not accepting McMahon line as the proper boundary line between India and China. So this is one you need to remember. Okay, then what is this vibrant village program launched by the government of India? This is a centrally sponsored scheme launched in 22-23 budget. Okay, so centrally sponsored means it is shared between the center and state. Central sector means 100% funding from the center itself, improving the quality of life of the people in the border areas. So the states covered here are Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim and Ladakh. Almost all the states and union territories bordering with China, this program is mainly aiming at. Okay, so they are identified by the district administration with the help of gram panchayats, and they will develop the infrastructure in these areas. That is what the main objective of vibrant village program. Okay, so here you need to know, when you are studying about any particular dispute, border disputes or neighboring relations, you need to know in terms of internal security, the border guarding forces also. For example, BSF, you have border security force between India and Pakistan, and also India and Bangladesh, you have this BSF. Then you have ITBP, Indo-Tibetan Border Police between India and China. Then you have SSB, Sashastra Seema Bal, between Nepal and Bhutan. Okay, previously used to have open border, but now we have this border. And Assam Rifles we have with respect to Myanmar border. Okay, so like this we have the border guarding forces also you need to know from the examination perspective. Then let's see the practice question given yesterday. The provisions in the 5th schedule of the Indian Constitution are made in order to protect the interests of scheduled tribes, determine the boundaries between states, determine the powers and authority and responsibilities of panchayats, protect the interests of all border states. It is with respect to in protecting the interests of scheduled tribes. Okay, now it's time to test your knowledge with respect to the today's discussion. You can see here what is the primary purpose of Sela tunnel. Okay, so in Arunachal Pradesh, among the given options, what is the correct one? Choose and answer in the comment section. Then the main question given for practice is, despite the differences at various levels, India and China relations are critical to realize Asian century. Discuss. Okay, this is the main question given for practice. Try to answer in the comment section and improve your answer writing skills. Then, as we have come to the end of the video, today we have discussed about Sela tunnel, how it is very important. Okay, so it is important in terms of improving better connectivity to LAC areas. It also facilitates in faster troop movements, as been in the case of 1962, which is not there for India. That is why we have lost the war. Now, in case of faster troop movements, we can have always an advantage over China, and also we can rebuild, or you can say you can reverse back the China's claims over Arunachal Pradesh by ramping up infrastructure and development in that region, and also it decreases the time by 1 hour from Tejpur to Tawang. Okay, so this is all we have discussed. The main significance of Sela Tunnel. Also, we have seen what is the role of PRO. We have seen vibrant village program. We have seen, and also we have seen the difference between LAC and LOC. We also have seen the difference between Johnson line and also McMahon line. Okay, so what are the claims and all these things we have seen in a nutshell, right? So thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful as part of your preparation. Thanks for watching and have a good day.